Kept you waiting, huh?
Who have we got here today? Introduce yourselves. Go around. Pass it around.
Hello, my name is Alex.
Hello, Mark. Dan.
Hello, Ethan.
I go by Lewis.
You go by Lewis. And I'm Ben, off camera for those watching. For reasons. I've got shorts on. Apparently that's not socially acceptable.
Shorts are fine, your legs are
These are good legs.
It's what's hanging out the short.
Yeah.
Or the lack thereof.
Anywho, so we've just finished EGX, the main Saturday. We've done it. We've done it all.
Oi, oi.
What's everyone's thoughts? How did it go? Highlights. Mark, let's start with you.
No, really enjoyed it. Big space, lots of wandering around, getting lost. Enjoyed that little crafty game I played at the beginning. Do you remember the name of that? The little one with the little shell, and I was hitting the character. The Thunderfall one, yeah. I've forgotten the name of it, but that was probably the game I enjoyed the most. I could have. Was a bit. What? Yeah. I had like the character. I just started playing, and he had a little shell, and you could attack people with the shell. But that was just one of the objects he had, and you could get different objects to craft. Yeah. Pretty boring.
No, I don't need it.
What? Why were you? Alex?
Second mic, I was thinking.
What? I was trying to find the name of the shell game for Mark.
Thunderfall had quite a good presence here, didn't they?
That was Planet of Lana. Was that game?
Planet of
That wasn't the shell one he was playing.
The shell game.
It was one where it looked like it was like a Stardew-y kind of game.
Alex is researching it as we speak.
Oh, thanks.
What did you think? What was that other one that we played, Lewis? The Souls-like one.
Something of Nal.
Hero of Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Last Hero of Nostalgia. That was very cool. It's like a Souls-like where you play as a stick man and you go around just battering enemies. Very Souls-like. You can dodge roll. Yeah. You can go behind people and stab them in the back.
You can cheese it.
You can cheese it. For purists like myself, I maintain sword and shield, but others who may or may not have been spat on like to cheese it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that's the correct way to play it. Even though you can do it, it should be outlawed. But that was cool. That was one of the highlights, I think, was that game. Very, very cool.
Featuring a stick man that can stab people in the back.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Mark.
Hello.
You.
Hello.
Yeah. You didn't get around to playing that, did you? But that looked like very much a Mark game.
I watched you two play it, and I had a chat with the art design, or the guy who was promoting the game, about the art design process.
Yep.
And that little stick man was created just as so that the developer could run around the levels and build the game. And then he decided that he just liked the look of it and kept it in the game.
Lazy.
Yeah, pretty much lazy. That's what we've established.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looked like a fun one to play.
Yeah, I think that was one of the games of the show for me. I know, Dan, you said one of yours was the Live by the Sword Tactics. Was that what it was called?
That was good. It was like, is it isometric when it's...
Yeah, into the breach kind of...
Yeah, into the breach. You can like move it around like the game board. We played it. I lost. Did you win? Who won that one?
I think it was a draw.
It was typical with you, it was a draw. I think I won that game, but yeah, it was really cool. You could place different classes, and you could... Yeah, I think I won. You could put like different classes on the board. The guy chose random for us, I still won. And then, like I said, you can move the characters around. They've got a certain movement area. You got like a mage, you had like an archer, a brawler. And yeah, it was good. It was good fun. It was more... the level of detail that went in, it's really big, like bombastic artwork. Even the loading screen was like really in your face, but I liked it. It was on Switch. You can play, we don't know if you can play cooperative, but you can definitely play against each other. and there was like a story mode to it as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Definitely
A
want
lot
to
to
watch.
it. Definitely had a lot to it. Go on, Mark.
Well, there aren't many of those games, are there? The tactics games that you can play multiplayer at all. I couldn't really think of any, so it was really interesting to see how that would work and whether it would work. And I think you guys seem to show that it did.
And it was cross-play as well, which is difficult for an indie developer. Yeah.
Cross-play, that's an interesting term.
Very cool. Another competitive one where we had a bit of a head-to-head and a draw was Alex and I played Street Fighter 6.
We did.
Not something that's normally up your alley, alley. But you quite enjoyed it, right?
I did quite enjoy it. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Behave, boys.
You two had quite a tussle with that one, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a very close game. So we did. It was 1-0, 2-1
was.
in each game.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it was
yeah.
very close. But Ken versus Ryu. How else do you play Street Fighter? But
Classic.
do you Ken? But it was a really, really pretty game. Like,
Yeah.
it was very, like, the presentation of it really hit home. The commentary was really good.
That was a cool feature. So the
Um,
commentary, there's the whole time you're playing, there's a
Yeah.
commentator going, "Oh, and player one is blah 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 blah."
And it was like you got,
Yeah.
you got to
no,
the
it's just
start.
some guy sat next to it. And the bald cunt is winning.
You got to the start of round 2 and it started kind of working back through how you played in round 1 and what you were doing, and like you kept close, and it was
Yeah.
really kind of analysing your performance in the last round. And
It's
but
quite
it was-
hard to couldn't quite understand whether it was really accurate or whether they were repeating
felt
a lot of
it,
phrases,
though.
but it seemed good at the time.
But no, it's not a game I'm going to buy. Like, it's not a game I'm going to play. But it was played it
yeah,
now.
completed it, mate.
Won a game, completed mate.
Yeah.
That's that. But yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
I'll be keeping my eye on that one. Another future release that we got our hands on was Sonic Frontiers.
Yes.
Ethan, did you get a little stab on Sonic Frontiers?
We did. Me and Mark gave the lowdown on the game.
Yeah.
Based on Mark and I. Sorry. Yeah.
What did you think of it, just from like watching that footage?
Well, we gave our thoughts before playing it because
Yeah.
we weren't allowed to record it, and then we.
Yeah, just let's pretend you didn't.
Okay, yeah. Well, I did play the game. I fell through the world. Yeah, I fell through the world. I think there was an audio issue, so I couldn't really hear the sound effects going on. Found it quite boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that there's a bit of it was basically just like Laurie said the same thing. God rest his soul. But he said that he was saying that it was because it was basically just like a tutorial section for like 15 minutes. It kind of like by the time you got ready to go, it was kind of over already. So yeah, but there was like a little. It was basically just showing you how to run around and that you're on a big grassy knoll. There was a tower at the end. You had a bit of a good part about it. You have this kind of like cyclone move where you hold the Y button, I think, or other consoles
Yeah.
are available, and then you run in a big circle, and it's like puts a trail behind you. And then if you complete the circle, you can let go at that minute, and it sort of like lassos everyone in that bit.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool, but. Yeah, it's not really my sort of thing, to be honest, but it was all
Did you
right.
notice some of the sound effects were very Breath of the Wildy? Like,
Well, again, I couldn't actually hear any sound effects. So it reminded me of those like Unreal Engine 4 videos on YouTube where it's like Ocarina of Time in 4K. It's just but I'm sure Sonic fans will probably enjoy it. It controlled well enough. Like
Yeah,
it had
it did.
It had the homing stuff nailed down and the boost thing nailed down and all that. You got a stamina meter.
it feels like a nailed-on 7 out of 10. I think
Yeah.
that game. Like, I can't see it deviating from that. Lewis, you probably would give it lower, right?
I would give it lower, but before I I've confirmed already. You got a row.
I got a what?
A row. You sat down at a console and someone came up behind you. And we're like, we've waited in the queue. And you got kicked off.
Yeah, well, the thing is, most people there knew who I was, so they didn't really like. They were like, I know, it was quite hard. It was hard as it is with these lot of 10 out of 10s trying to bat away the members of the general public. But so most people knew who I was, but obviously those two people must not watch. high achieving games coverage, and they didn't know it was, unfortunately. But yeah.
So I thought it was just another 3D Sonic game and just a bit rubbish. It does not suit a 3D plane. I don't think the tutorial worked that well because it was very stop-start, like you were saying. I didn't fall through the world, but I fell off the edge of a cliff. Yeah. That was fun, and I sort of slid down the edge of the cliff for what seemed like 45 seconds. I was like, this is a fucking high cliff.
There did seem like a lot of loading screens and bits and little tutorials where it took you out of the world, and
you could do like a whilst it was loading a different area, there was like a little thing where you could do it was like a little challenge where you could do a little combo thing, like on FIFA when you're waiting and it tells you a little cross challenge. But like I was
except you're just bashing the X button.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking to myself, like, tell you what, the Switch players are going to have the high score on that because they're going to be loading for about 4 minutes every time they finger. But yeah, like you were saying, then since Laurie's not here, I'll steal his thoughts yet again.
Yep.
Laurie. Yeah. Laurie. Yeah.
He didn't really want to be mentioned, and we've now said his name about 30 times.
Oh, really?
So go on. What were Laurie's thoughts?
He said that, and I agree, that he said that in Breath of the Wild, the tutorial, you figure stuff out for yourself. You know what I mean? Whereas with this, it's popping up with a fucking thing every 3 seconds, as if your DualShock was low on battery. You know what I mean? Coming up saying, "Oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this." So, especially given the fact that you only got a certain finite amount of time to play it, and because we all queued that long to play as well. It was all right. It was what I expected, to be fair.
All right. Well, let's end on a positive for Sonic Frontiers. Alex, you actually enjoyed it a bit more than you were expecting to, right?
I did. I thought it was actually really on my level. Yeah, that's it. It's got cars. Well, they go fast. They've got a boost. So it was quite good. Loves the ring. complete that ring and magic things happen. Yeah.
Blowing out that ring.
But I played, when we were here last year, I played Sonic Colors, and thought that was one of the worst things I'd ever put my hands on. So this was a huge step up from that, from my perspective. We'll not talk about what we put my hands on then. But it's like, it exceeded expectations when you don't have low expectations to get in, which is probably where we're all at with Sonic Frontiers. But I liked the combat. I thought it was quite fluid. I think it's very strange to have a Sonic game where you level up Sonic, you give him abilities, you've got stuff to unlock.
Skill
It just
tree
it feels odd. I feel like it would probably actually be a decent game if Sonic wasn't in it. I think if you didn't try and shoehorn it into Sonic's world, I think it probably at its core is a decent game. Just trying to say it's a Sonic game is probably a stretch, but it was a good. I enjoyed it.
So I got to one of the parts that felt more like a Sonic game. I can't remember what it was called, but like the
was it Green Hill one?
Digital Realm or something.
Yeah.
And that seemed quite cool. That just played like an old school Sonic game, and it was good. But I wonder how much of that like stop-start tutorial stuff will pervade across the whole game. Like it's hard to tell from that demo we played that was so, go here, do this, and every 5 seconds is like a mini cutscene for the next part of. There's this big boss, and it's just a bit. It felt a bit disjointed, and it made me feel like the game is nowhere near ready to be released. But it obviously is, because it's coming out in
November
8th November, yeah.
Yeah. Any other highlights from anyone? Lewis, what did you play towards the end there that you were raving about?
I was just having a little look there. I played this on Dan Ward's recommendation.
Dim Day Red.
That's the one. So, I guess it's kind of like Disco Elysium a little bit. Quite a bleak world that you occupy. Decision-based, can take you anywhere. It has a massive effect on the story. I asked the guy afterwards, he says, it's like spaghetti, is how he described it. Spaghetti.
Like spaghetti.
I would say it a third time louder, but I won't. So like you'll get the options you can like have a tussle with someone, have a little fight, and if you want to hit them, you roll a dice, and if you have a low number, you'll miss or they'll block. If you hit a high number, you'll knock them the fuck out.
Oh, so no skill, just pure luck.
Just pure luck. But no, it's cool.
Makes sense
You level up using little like tarot card type things.
Right.
Got one of them in there.
Got one of them there, yeah.
Got a tarot card.
This one's.
It suits this lad here.
Yeah.
It does. It does. I got Lust.
Lewis, very much a believer in the dark arts.
Exactly.
What sort of perspective is it played from? Is it like Disco Elysium? Does it look like it?
It's almost like, what was that game that you played? It's a robot called Charlie. What was it? What was the? What was the one? The game that had a robot on Game Pass. It was like just totally narrative driven. Citizen Sleeper. So it's like
a robot called Charlie.
Yes, yeah, it was. Well, voice acted. Like I said to Ethan, it's all totally voice acted. At least that bit was. But the main narrator sounded a lot like Lena Headey, who's Cersei in Game of Thrones. But each individual character has their own unique voice. It's really well done. I went up to the developer after. I was like, genuinely loved it, and he looked surprised.
Really?
I was like, honestly, the best game I played today.
The nice thing about, when we were speaking to Dev as well, and Ethan's mad like video skills, I've got my face just painted in blue stuff.
So sorry, I was tapping on your face so much throughout that. I just tapping on your
I've not got a small face either, like proper moonhead and Lego hair.
Pick up Sky.
Yeah, that cheeky. But yeah, but the developer is Greek, and all of the substantive team are Greek as well. And he was like, Disco Elysium, that's an Estonian team, I think he said. And he said like the fact that we've got like a very small gaming community in Greece, like very passionate group of people, but we have to work on a really threadbare amount of resource. And he was like, it was kind of like trying to justify why the game wasn't quite there yet from a polished perspective. And I was just like, yeah, but from that like oppression and from that lack of funding, like the creativity that they've had to put a game like that together, it's immense. And I think that's why it's more impressive to see that as compared to like a development company that might be in the UK or like in America or anything else. But these guys like so happy. And he grabbed us, didn't he? Because I think we were knackered by that point. We were going to go to the press room, and he was just like, come and have a look at it. You got a sign, but they've got a Kickstarter coming up for a actual tabletop version as well.
That's cool.
So they've tied it all in, and they were like, we're not going to get a publisher for the game. We're quite happy to publish on our own. He said, but we are going to do a Kickstarter, so I think we should look out for that in the coming weeks.
Definitely. I didn't realize there was going to be a tabletop version of the game. I've had one negative.
Testament to Dan's personal growth as well, that speaking to a Greek developer, he didn't ask if they had gyro controls, which is that's impressive. Very impressive.
Can confirm, Ben, I do like gyro.
I think the one negative I would have is that I had to say my name.
Yeah.
What seemed like 5 or 6 times. Lewis.
What?
Lewis? Wes? Lewis?
Louis?
Even though his name was like, what was that? Vasilis. Yeah. And he was like, no, Vasilis. And I was there for ages. Vasilis. Go right. And I was like, my name's Lewis. And he was just like,
He's just taking the piss out of me. Like an innocent guy just standing here wanting to play your game.
He actually, that guy, I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I've actually dealt with this myself personally, so I did resonate with that more than, the guy, his glasses, he had one arm on his glasses. Yeah. So I don't know if he sat on them on the way here or something, and he's like, I mean, what the fuck am I going to do? Am I either going to just fucking be blind for the entire weekend or wear one-arm spectacles? And that was quite a spectacle. But I've had to do that myself, so yeah. But the demo for that's already out as well, isn't it? So you can actually you can play it.
When I went over to the Welsh stand, that was my highlight. Not for the game that you guys were playing, 4 of you, but because it was like Wrexham Uni, and I started talking about like welcome to Wrexham, and the guy was like, oh. Not seen it, not heard about it. I was like, because I was going like, oh, like Wrexham must be on the map at the moment. He was just like, why is that? Like the only person I think from like Wrexham in that area, completely oblivious to like the fact that his football team's been bought by like 2 Hollywood celebrities, and he was just like, no, didn't know. Wrexham
I've just
was
been
on the
locked
map.
in my garage, mate, for
basically.
2 years.
Doing things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love the main programmer with those guys. They nicknamed him Fridge.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, I was just expecting this absolute unit to rock up. And then he goes, oh, Fridge is over there. And I sort of went, oh, look down. It's like, oh, hello, fella.
What?
Come on.
Yeah. Laurie was tall next to him. Wasn't he?
Laurie was towering over.
Yeah.
He was big and broad next to everything.
The first for everything, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I think the highlight was the content as well. Like the fact that it felt, because you only get 1 or 2 shots of this every year.
Yeah.
It's like do EGX and I have the opportunity to do it. One, it's been lovely getting all the guys around and just having the team there. Why is that funny, you cunt?
I was thinking of the content and thinking of one of the answers, and it just making me lose it.
Oh, yeah. Gonna have to bleep that out, aren't we?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but the fact all of us like gathered round, like doing silly things, but also doing the serious shit as well, that was fun. That was so
But
much fun.
it was nice, like genuinely, like just meeting people, being silly, doing some Desert Island cartridges. I think we'll get a few good highlights out of that.
Yeah, and shout out for Laurie as well for not being here, but like you
Yeah,
said, he had to
so
go back and get the train, but yeah, he was
Laurie wasn't feeling too
part
well,
of the gang as well,
unfortunately.
and Max yesterday as well.
Yes, yeah.
Max Stone.
Shame Max missed Lady Dimitrescu today. He would have been in his element.
Positively erect. He would have been positively erect.
Horrendously so, like a rager. Yeah, with little buttons sticking out.
Lovely.
Modest, modest.
What about you? What's your highlights, Ben?
My
Yeah, Ben.
highlight. Oh, thanks for asking.
Hey Ben, swap, come on.
Something like that.
Thanks for asking,
Come on.
Lewis. Well,
Show the people what they want, let's see the crotch.
my highlight. Oh, you want me to swap? Okay.
Come on.
Let's swap, mate. This is awkward.
Keep those
Here he is.
pins up there.
Look at that bulge.
Really keep your legs closed.
Personal highlight for me. Well, that really is a bright light, isn't it? Fuck me. Probably Wild Frost. Deck building roguelike with. It's kind of like, obviously, your first instinct is to go, oh, it's like Slay the Spire. It's more like Monster Train, which came out last year. Very much enjoyed that as well. And yeah, I didn't play it for long enough to really get into the nitty gritty of the mechanics, but the presentation, the music, everything else was really good. Speaking to one of the team from Chucklefish who are publishing it, they said that basically the way the music was created was they gave the composer images from the game and said make music that looks like it would be made from that instrument, and it was just like images from the game, like a bell from the game or whatever. So it's quite an interesting way to do it, sort of mood board based.
Like that, and the visuals reminded me of they kind of look like Grindstone, do you reckon?
Yeah, we said exactly the same thing, didn't we? I think you're getting a lot of that, like kind of mobile-y kind of art style. But yeah, that was it for me. I was looking forward to playing that, and it did not disappoint. So looking forward to that coming out, definitely. Anything else? You're hosting now. Over to you.
I'm a host now.
Pressure's off.
Okay.
Sorry, can you pass me my beer, please, Dan?
What was that?
Can you pass me my beer, please, buddy?
Nah. I don't think there's anything else really. I think we've had a really good time. It's been fun.
Yep.
Yeah. All have a nice little rest. Hopefully not get con lurgy.
No.
Hopefully not.
Laurie Lurgy.
Well.
Laurie Lurgy.
Laurie lurgy. Laurie lurgy. Laurie lurgy. That as well. No. Should be a wrap, shouldn't it? Ben, where can we get you on Twitter?
Oh, here, he's passed me. It's passed me. But you can get him at Benji Kong. Is that it?
Yeah.
Benji Kong.
Benji Cack.
I would say a special shout out to the students that were there.
Oh yeah.
There were a whole. As you enter on the left hand side, there were 7 booths that were all for students at some university that escapes my mind. And that's
National Film and Television something.
was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And that was like part of their final year, like what they were going to hand those games in, and it's just like such a great like platform for them to go and sort of just showcase what they can do. So I thought it was amazing that they could go and do that. And that was Vox and the Void is the one that I played, and you played another one. I don't know the name of it though. Are you?
Oh yeah, she was dead sweet. The fact that she did all of the design of the game, the writing of the game, like sing the theme tune, wrote the theme tune, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Literally the whole thing was A to B. And when it was given like some feedback at the end, she was like really sincerely like writing it down and like giving that kind of. And she had a notepad full of information, but. Again, just like you can see, it means so much to these guys when they're making the games and putting them out there. But it must be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And the fact they've been there for like 3 days already, and even then they've got like that kind of like adrenaline, nervous excitement. It's proper. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, those things they have to hand them in December for marking. So they're genuinely going to take your feedback on board. So I guess it's all worthwhile.
Dan actually said we didn't get this on camera, but
You can have.
Dan
that.
actually said we didn't get this on camera, but Dan actually turned around and went, "I'd go back to the drawing board if I were you." So hopefully that student's going to be doing. Hopefully the library facilities have got some good stuff on there, so they can make a new game in 2 months' time. But yeah,
I think his exact words were "keep up the doodling." I think that's what he said.
What, when you were playing, was it Box and Void? I was speaking to the developer and he was saying, yeah, I mean, I've coded out 2 bugs today alone. I mean, it's great people playing the game. And like, I'm just sitting and you're back and you're going through it and you're debugging it. And it's like, it's just people playing the game. And it was just thinking about that, like people actually sitting there in the middle of these shows, like taking bugs out their games because people are finding them. But he was so nervous while you were playing it because like he's past that point for the game breaking bug. There's one more that needs to get past, and I can usually know whether they're going to get through or not. And he's like, and he was like, you could physically see in his face it was relieved that you hadn't brought the game by then. Then you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ethan's perception of me at the moment is just like, oh, your game's shit. Do you want a job? Do you want a pint? Do you want to see a man eat 2 pizzas? What do you want to...
Yeah.
Could be that. Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah. Well, I probably had about the other half, so...
1.5 what?
The other half, I would say.
Maybe 1 piece.
Yeah.
1 piece.
I want to mention one other game, just that I've got. The last... Yeah.
You stop
Yeah,
deep
it's not
throating that
bad.
microphone and pull it away a little bit from your mouth. That'd be...
But the last case of Benedict Fox,
I need to play that tomorrow.
I really liked that. Yeah. But the case of Lawrence Fox, yeah. I mean that's a game in itself, but
deserved.
we said the curious case of Lawrence Fox because I can't believe that you did. You just Google that then?
no.
I can't believe that you remembered that.
Pull it out.
Well, I always remember the highlights of the Xbox showcases day one on Game Pass. So yeah, I really liked it. That was good. Along with Planet of Lana, which is also
I was
day one on Game Pass.
I was a bit cooler on that because it was like a really shit Abe's Odyssey.
It was an Alex game and not a Dan game. That one very much.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
but I can
nice,
give it criticism.
Nice chill. No, you can. Completely can.
Yeah.
I can give you criticism because you deserve it.
Well, sort your quiff out.
Whoa. One other thing, you mentioned Game Pass there. We did get some time with a publisher who most of our time was spent talking to developers. Spoke to a publisher who basically gave us a bit of inside scoop about the whole process of how stuff goes to Game Pass in the first place.
Yeah.
And whether that's Microsoft approaching them or vice versa. And he was well, we'll have this out in other content as well, so I don't want to spill the full load.
May I say that you've done an excellent job, by the way.
Uh-huh.
A really good job.
Yeah.
Spared my arms. No,
It was a long interview. Sorry about that. But yeah, it was interesting to get that perspective because it's kind of been a mystery to us, like those conversations that go on. But he was pretty open and open to coming onto the podcast and giving us a bit more inside info. So that would be pretty good content to look out for.
Yeah, he seemed to be zipping about. I think he was at Tokyo Game Show last week.
Yeah,
he's going back to Tokyo this coming week. So he's like, give me a week or so to readjust.
Yeah.
And let me know.
I think he's based in Tokyo.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he might have just been another person that was just EGX and just really bullshitting us.
A punter.
Just like, oh yeah, I live in Tokyo. Yeah. Oh, Game Pass. Yeah, it's easy to get onto.
I mean, if he did, he was very
He was-
convincing.
he done a good
He was
job,
very
he done a good
convincing.
job.
Yeah, but that was kind of a highlight because you don't normally get that sort of insight. Back to Dan in the studio.
Hi guys. Right, the weather tomorrow is the guy I met, Andy. What's the name of the game that he was showing? Spooky one.
The Poltergeist. So that's like one of the new kind of fangled games where it's a bit like Mario Kart, but there's a ghost chasing you, and basically there's no like laps or anything like that. The goal isn't to win the race, but it's to stay away from the ghost for the long amount of time. But that guy had worked for, so he was a co-creator of Skate. He'd also released like multiple. Oh, the light's gone off.
Yeah. I'm blind. Yeah.
Yeah, co-creator of Skate, that light's probably going to go off again. Co-creator of Skate. Then on top of that, he co-released loads of mobile games, worked on Resident Evil, done all sorts. Lives on the Wirral, the light's gone. really lovely fella, like genuinely nice, absolutely fantastic, and he was just like willing to sit there and talk for like 20, 30 minutes.
He was telling you that story when he had a PC as a kid, and he found all his old Commodore 64. I think he's based in Vancouver. Did he say?
No, he's based on a Wirral. He was based in Vancouver then.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Twin Vancouver.
Yeah,
the Wirral. Twin
he
Vancouver.
said that he was coding like and making little Commodore 64 games when he was younger, and he said that he found all his old discs in his loft at home, and he brought them back and put them in. And he was playing them, and he tried to pull up the code to look at how he'd done it because he didn't have any memory of how he'd done it, and it came up saying like, "No, it's not going to be that easy."
Yeah.
So he'd
Hackers
actually,
beware.
yeah. So as a kid, he'd actually like added anti-piracy measures into his own game.
It's based an 8-year-old him fucked a 40-year-old him off, which was amazing.
I'm glad that sentence ended the way that it did. But
good point. Yeah, fair.
But that
Yeah, I spent quite a lot of the EGX in the toilets.
It's like you in the ice cream van this time.
No, talking about the process that the devs go through. That game I was playing, like the tiny book shop game. Yeah, that game I played. A nice little indie game about running. Yeah, a little bookmark from them, which I'll be keeping. I'll be using that in my real books. And the guy said that, and the game you're sort of managing a little bookshop. It's a caravan bookshop that you drive into little villages and things.
Oh, it's not the one where you design the caravan in and it comes to life. Right, okay.
But he had actually spent part of the development time driving around Europe in his own little caravan, making the game in the little caravan, which was quite sweet.
That's quite cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
I also played that one. Yeah, I played that as well. Wings of Sycamore.
Of course you played the Wings of Sycamore. Of course you played that game.
It's like a strong peak game, that one. Lots of flight.
Okay. Yeah, he loves flight, doesn't he?
He loves his flight games. But that's a game I was halfway through playing it, and the dev came up behind me, just appeared at my shoulder and said, "There are easier controls if you want them."
Really? It was that bad?
It was that bad. Yeah. So that's pretty brutal.
It's like being told at rugby, do you want to play just with a football?
Do you want to just play touch rugby?
No, do you want a tennis ball? Is that okay?
Tennis ball. Yeah.
Do you want to just touch? That's where it began. The legacy of Mark. Do you want to just touch? PE teacher. Those who can't teach. PE. Touch. Awful. Suit them, Ben.
I've got Dan's glasses on. How do they look now? Look alright?
Fine. Look like a Bond villain.
no comment.
It's like a bald man.
Like normal.
Like a bald Max.
Bald. That's harsh.
That's very
What have I
harsh.
said to you? Yeah. Rude, like a bald Max. It's like the ultimate fucking insult.
Alex, I was thinking the exact same thing. I don't know why.
Right, let's wrap this mother up.
Bald Max's dad.
We do need another
That's
beer.
true.
Should we beer it, or do you want to go and get food?
Eating's cheating, eh?
I reckon we get food. I'll get the beers when we get there. I've committed on the pod now. Let's do it. Yeah, I've got cash that I've been able to spend all weekend. So
Royal and
let's do it. Right, gents.
and £5 on the game having shutters last night. Yeah.
Good point.
Lost the bet
Very
there
good
last
point.
night.
Loads of lovely people today. Lovely seeing you guys as well. Been a pleasure. So, should we sign off with a wave? Chin chin. Oh, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers to the empty glasses.
And an empty
There you go.
glass.
Wait.